I came from a life of drugs and alcohol and addictions. That was my way of coping with life's problems. Lots of nights I was on the streets, just felt like I was always running from everything and everyone, and a lot of hungry times. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, put it that way. It's not a great place to be. My name's Chris Beckley. I'm 37 years old. I live in Prince George, and I am in auto industry sales. I like to go camping, ATVing, just like getting outdoors with a bunch of friends. I mean, hiking's really cool. I like exploring new areas that I've never been to before. I was born in Vancouver and moved up into Prince George when I was young. You know, just average life of every other kid, and I felt like there was something missing, like I didn't belong, like I didn't fit in, like I was the puzzle piece that didn't fit. And so obviously I resorted to drugs and alcohol because it numbed a lot of that stuff. And then about 10 years ago, I started a journey on how to stop using drugs and alcohol. I went to treatment, I did counseling. It wasn't until I discovered really nature. Now I'm 5 years I've never touched and don't have a desire to use drugs or alcohol anymore. And my life's just been exponentially better. There's a 12-step recovery, and one of those steps is making amends. I had taken a letter that I had written. One of my colleagues had said, you should go out in nature and go up on top of a mountain and release it there. And it was like a 4.5-hour climb up. So it was like, by the time I got there, I was exhausted. Sat there and just listened to the wind, watched the birds. And it was like cleansing, and it was super healing at the same time. I think that's what kind of was the Kickstarter for all of this. And then I started going to a fellowship program. That was working really well, and that's where I actually met a few people that were into hunting and the outdoors. Once I had like a little snippet of it, it was like I was out there every chance I got. Like after work, I was back out in the woods. I was on the lake fishing. I was any kind of way to just interact with nature. I guess you could say I switched one addiction to the other, because now that's all I can think about. I think the spiritual connection starts right at the store, where you're getting your supplies to go out, and then all the way into being in the forest and you're sitting there for like 2-3 hours waiting for that, the big bowl to come out. There's just something different when you put the meat that you've prepared on the plate and your whole family's eating it. It's just that much more beautiful than it is if you just grab hamburger helper off the shelf kind of thing. When I'm out there, it's not only about getting something, right? And I learn something every single time I go out. And I think that's where the real value is. It's helped me grow as a person. So I've now started, that's part of like my program. I bring guys that are like new to recovery, and I bring them out to nature, and that's where I kind of connect with them. It brings my family together. It brings a good group of us friends together, and it gives us good conversation piece. You really can't put a price tag on it. It's made me feel whole and human, which I never thought was ever possible. If I say I hunt, am I what you picture? We're not as different as you may think.